This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we get more evidence that Red Dead Redemption 2 Remaster is coming to current consoles. Marvel Wolverine gets a release date. Oh, you know we have been looking forward to this game. And the release date says that it's getting out of the way of Grand Theft Auto 6. Gran Turismo 7 is on the Switch too. This is according to reports. It seems to be the case. It is being played on the Switch too. Oh, we got to talk about that. And Todd Howard, he talks a little bit about Starfields update, and he actually puts things in perspective when it comes to that update that's coming. But all of these stories can be found here and more in episode 274 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Come on in and sit down and relax, because we're going to have a great conversation today. And if you're traveling, hopefully we can accompany you to your destination. Now, with that being said, if you want to be a part of listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the name of the show, the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, we know it's been a lot of things that has happened this week with the Xbox brand. I recorded an episode separate of this one on Wednesday. What is the day? Wednesday, February 20-something. I can't remember. But I recorded that episode separate because not everybody is going to want to hear some of the biggest news of the week being regurgitated over again. So if you want to check that out, I go into different details about what's going on with the Xbox brand, who's taking over, who's being left behind, who's actually gone. All of that is in that episode. So if you want to be a part of that one and listen in and actually answer the question that I ask on that podcast, then please feel free. But on this episode, I want to ask you guys, it's a similar question, but a little different. Will the Xbox console survive? Now, the Xbox brand is the Xbox brand. Anything can survive off of brand recognition. We have Sega. Sega hasn't been in the gaming space for decades at this point, but yet everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a ton of people know what Sega does. We know Sonic. We know, what is it? It's the RPG that they make. Persona, the Persona franchise, Yakuza, whatever the case, Judgment. We know that Sega is behind these games. Some of these IPs have their stamp on it. The question that I have, though, is the console brand, not the Xbox brand, the console of the Xbox brand. Will that survive? It's a difference. Are they going to move forward? Unlike Sega, are they going to be able to move forward with the console at the helm of what they do? Or will they go the way of Sega and just become a third-party publisher and developer? I am really at a crossroads with this one. If you ask me, I think the console is cooked. I think that whole situation with Xbox as a console, that situation is over. Having this young lady coming in over from AI, what is her name? God, dog, I had her name written down here too, and I can't, Sharma. I know her last name is Sharma. She, with her being in there saying all of the right things, we want to bring Xbox back to what it is. It's all about the games and all of this other I'm not going to say rhetoric, but all of this word salad that she's putting out there. I just don't see it happening. Maybe for the games, possibly, but the console included in that vision, Absolutely not. I think she is in there to slowly walk that console out of the picture. The guy, well, I don't want to get into the conversation that I had in other podcasts because I wasn't trying to make this podcast long-winded, just talking about the Xbox brand. But that is the question. I think it's out of here. I don't think the console is going to survive. The way that they've treated the console, the way that they have put the console out there as a second thought. You know, why are you playing on console? You should be playing on cloud, or you should be playing on PC, or matter of fact, you should be playing on your phone if you can, or even our handheld. Why aren't you playing on the handheld? It's like the console has been completely shunned when it comes to the Xbox brand, so I don't think the console will survive. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. As always, call in at 667-284-9057 if you want to be a part of the conversation, or email the show at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Shout out to you too, again, Cody Clark, for the email. I greatly appreciate it. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into what we all come here for, and that is no doubt the gaming news that went down. Starting things off with Kotaku, which this story would have been the biggest story of the week, but y'all know Microsoft won't be outdone when it comes to bad news. So I will say this, dog, I don't think any of us saw this coming. It's no easy way to say it. But Blue Point Games, and I got this story from Bloomberg, Blue Point Games is shutting down. The studio behind Demon's Souls remake, Shadow of the Colossus remake, beautiful game. I have the game. Shadow of the Colossus remake and the Uncharted collection, which I also have. That studio behind those games are shutting down, and it's going to roughly affect around 70 employees who will unfortunately, well, I don't know if they're going to lose their jobs. I don't know about that. Because they could take that team. That team was way smaller than I was expecting. The work that Blue Point has done has been amazing. So for them to be a 70-man team is wild to me. I can't imagine PlayStation getting rid of the talent. Maybe the studio. But that talent, you can always put them in other places. You got the God of War remakes, 1, 2, and 3 that are coming up. Who didn't think that Blue Point was going to be a part of that process? I sure as heck did. I thought they were going to be there front line, on the front line doing this, working, of course, in tandem with, what's their name? Sony Santa Monica. I thought they were going to be working with them because the thing that a lot of people enjoyed about the Shadow of the Colossus remake was they still, even though they made the game look beautiful, they still kept the DNA that actually made the game what the game was. They made sure that they didn't tamper with it so much where it was still traces of the original game inside of that beautiful looking remake that they did. So the integrity of what the game was still there. And Blue Point has been so great at that. So for them to get rid of them, it blew my mind. Now, the reason why, some of you may know, some of you may not know why they got rid of them. But according to a PlayStation spokesperson, they wrote in a statement that the decision was made, quote, following a recent business review, end of quote. Now, just to let you guys know, Blue Point Games will officially shut down next month. In doggone February. They are out of here. Sir! Well, that hurt is real. That hurt is real. These guys are leaving, shut down, to never make another game as Blue Point again. And this was a studio that PlayStation actually bought. They bought these guys. And I think maybe they bought them about 4 years ago. And this is the thing. Now, hold on. Now, I can't fully blame Sony for this because, well, I can, but I can't. The question that I think we all need to ask is, what did Blue Point Games produce in that time frame? Here it is. You had Demon Souls Remake that came out at the beginning of the console generation. That was 6 years ago. Well, going on 6 years ago this year. We heard that they had a God of War project that was being worked on, but then that got canceled. What were these guys working on previously? Now, I don't think anybody thought that a God of War multiplayer game was going to fly. I can't even blame them for that, because that happened during the time period when we know that PlayStation was all about that multiplayer. They were all about those games, the game, I can't think of the name of the doggone genre of the game, but we know that they were all about that situation, trying to make those games more popular, get more money from those. So with Blue Point actually spinning in that direction, I figured that they were forced into that. I figured that was something that PlayStation was making them do. Then all of a sudden somebody got the idea, hold on, this might not be a good fit for you. Let's dead that. I thought they were going to be moving on to another project, but no, they are stopped in their tracks permanently as Blue Point Games. Very, very sad. Who's going to take over the God of War remakes now? I'm sure they had to have had that in place. Maybe it's Sony Santa Monica. Maybe that's what they'll be working on. And I can understand that being a really good situation for them, because the games came, I'm all tongue-tied, the games came from their studio. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully PlayStation will retain that amazing talent that those guys over at Blue Point had, and they'll be able to continue to work inside of PlayStation and make great games, but only time will tell. Let's go ahead, guys, and let's move on into the next story that I got from Mix Val. So I know that we've been hearing about Red Dead Redemption 2 being remastered for this generation, but we haven't had something concrete from a developer's standpoint. Well, to be honest, we still don't have a word from Rockstar, but recent technical reports coming from sources linked to the development of major digital entertainment projects indicate that a significant update to Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2 is in its final stages of production, and they're fully adapting it to the hardware of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. So this is what we can expect from this report, again from Mixed Valve. We can expect for this version of Red Dead Redemption 2 to have native 4K resolution. They're going to have frame rate unlocked to achieve stable 60 frames per second. We're going to have use of SSD to drastically reduce those loading times. We're going to have realistic lighting and shadows via ray tracing technology and full 3D audio support for greater spectral immersion. This thing sounds fantastic, and I'm definitely all for it. So the thing that really stood out to me is the 60 frames per second. What the world is going on? Man, hold on. Unprofessional Productions. My doggone, whatchamacallit got stuck. What is going on here? Dog, messing up my doggone podcast. What is wrong with you? Doggone it. Pardon me, doggone. Unprofessional Productions forever. Unfortunately. But doggone my what is it called? Whatchamacallit, man? My sump pump. Joker kept going. Matter of fact, ain't nothing wrong with you. No, you keep on working. Yeah, keep the water out of the house. Yeah, I need that. But all right, good grief. All right, I thought it kept on going. But getting back to Red Dead Redemption 2 here. I'm excited. The loading times, that's going to be fantastic. Y'all know how long Red Dead Redemption 2 used to load on the Xbox One. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But with it having the technology, the SSD, the 60 frames per second, the 4K resolution, the realistic lighting, the ray trace, oh man, this thing could look bananas. Absolutely bananas. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, when they say that it is, hold on, let me find it. Where they said it was coming soon. Well, anyway, I can't find exactly where it said it, but just knowing that this is coming out very, very soon has me excited. Now, again, we gotta wait to see if it's real. Again, Rockstar nor Take-Two, Rockstar or Take-Two has not come out to say anything about this project. But according again to Mixed Valve and people that are close to the technical reports that actually cover these kinds of things, they're saying that it is in its final stages. So we will definitely see what happens with this in the near future. And when I say near future, listen, how cool would it be to actually have Red Dead Redemption 2 Remaster be announced sometime over the summer when the campaign, or right before the summer campaign of Grand Theft Auto 6 starts. This is the remaster that I think all of us want. I did want Red Dead Redemption 1 to be remade because that game was a little dated with the graphics. They didn't quite go that route, but they did add in some of the bells and whistles to Red Dead Redemption. That was cool. But I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is the one that we can all agree we would love to see running on this modern day hardware. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead, guys, and let's get into the next story that I got from Kotaku. So in great PlayStation news, you know, PlayStation has a habit, unlike Xbox. When they hit you with bad news, they turn right back around a couple days later and they give you something good. So this is awesome. Insomniac has come out ahead of their spring Wolverine show to say, quote, "Let's cut to the chase. Marvel's Wolverine launches September 15th, 2026. Yeah! Oh, it's coming! It's coming this year. Oh, this is awesome news. I thought they would have held this for their upcoming show that I was talking about, the Spring Wolverine Showcase, or whatever they're going to call it. This coming up in the next, I don't know, maybe next month or two. When that was coming, I thought they would have talked about the release date. But this shows that even if there was an inkling of doubt, the Wolverine, how were they going to play it with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out? Were they going to release it the same month? Were they going to release it a month after, a month before? How were they going to place it? They're letting you know, look, we're coming out September 15th, 2026, way before Grand Theft Auto 6 even reaches the store's shelves. So they're going to be out almost 2 months before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. And I will still stand on the square that even if they had released in November, Wolverine was still gonna sell extremely well against Grand Theft Auto 6, because the thing about GTA 6 that is happening, and it is a bit of smaller talk, it's kind of like under people's breath. They're like, man, this game has been taking so long, I'm not even all that excited. If something else comes out in its place, it's no longer at the top of my list. If something else comes out that I think is going to be better, I'm going to get that. So that's kind of the thing that you have to deal with when you have a game in production for this long. When you get these games that are 8 years in, 10 years in, 9 years in, the production is so long. Even if you have a fantastic game, eventually, after multiple delays, people getting excited and then being let down, people just, eventually they decide to move on to something else. Now, again, don't get that misconstrued with Grand Theft Auto 6 is not going to sell well. It's going to be the highest grossing game this year. I have no doubt about it. But all I'm saying is if a game takes so long to come out and is hit with multiple delays, people will eventually get tired of waiting and start thinking about other things that can take that slot, because maybe they don't feel like the game is really going to release during that time because you've already let them down multiple times. So again, I'm still standing on the square that GTA 6 will not reach the heights as far as what we think the game is going to be. I think it's going to be a good game, but I don't think it's going to be a game where we can reflect on it and say 10 years in development that it really met the standard that we were looking forward to. I'm going to stand on that square until I am proven wrong. Again, it's going to sell well, but is it going to reach the heights? Heck no, I don't think so. Matter of fact, I don't even know if we're going to be running in all them buildings like they're talking about. Now, I would love for it to happen. I want it to be true. I truly do. I want us to be able to run in 30, 40, 50% of the buildings that are shown. That's going to show a lot of growth in gaming. And with $1 billion, again, $1 billion budget on this game, this thing needs to be perfection. 10 out of 10. I don't want to hear any excuses. These guys ain't been in crunch. 10 years worth of development. That thing needs to be flawless when it releases. But we're going to see. We'll see what happens. Again, we're talking about Wolverine right now, which I am excited and I can't wait. That gets me even more excited about this upcoming showcase, because that means once we see this game, we know that it's not going to be that far behind. It's coming out this year. It's not going to be delayed. And Insomniac has such an amazing track record right now. I can only imagine how awesome this game is going to be. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And I know some of y'all might say, hold on, brother. Rockstar has a great track record. Yeah, they do. But let's not get confusion on some people having a problem with the combat, with the shooting inside of Grand Theft Auto. A lot of people have not really felt the shooting was up to snuff or up to par with other games. So there are aspects that Grand Theft Auto can always improve in. It's not a perfect game, but doggone darn near close. It's right there. It's amazing. But again, I'm not convinced. With that being said, for the sake of time, because I got to go to work tonight, let's go ahead and move on into the next story that I got from Eurogamer. So Todd Howard, he sat down with Greg Miller, where he put a few things in perspective when he talked about Starfield and the update, where Todd said, and I quote, "But look, if Starfield is something that didn't connect with you right away, or you bounced off of it or found it boring in places, I don't think this is going to change that fundamentally." So he's letting you know, if you had all of your eggs in this basket of this update that's coming out, that, hey, once this update comes out, Starfield might be better. It could be the game for me with what they're working on. He's letting you know, no, it's not going to change any of what you're talking about or what you think. It's going to be pretty much fundamentally what it is right now. Now, Todd even went as far as to say, and I quote, "It's not Starfield 2.0. I've seen some of that," end of quote. So people that said, look, this is going to be the big update. I was even a person that was jumping on board saying this is going to be Starfield 2.0. He's letting everybody know, nah, don't get your hopes up like that. This is not Starfield 2.0. Matter of fact, I think he said something else that kind of went in tandem with that, because Todd, he said as far as, yeah, Todd said this. He also, well, Greg had asked Todd, was this like a final update to the game? Where Howard, he actually said, and I quote, "No, we're doing more Starfield stuff coming up. It's something we see continuing for a while." So yeah, this Starfield update is not the end-all be-all. He said they're going to be working on this for quite some time. If you didn't enjoy the game out the gate, this update is not going to change it fundamentally and make it something that maybe you could enjoy. The game is what the game is. Now, as far as when the update will be released, Howard said this. He said, and I quote, "It's soonish. I don't want to spoil the day, but it is coming soon. End of quote. So we know that according to him, look, I don't know, this thing might be out sometime in June. Maybe it'll be at the showcase if there is a showcase, because there is new leadership. We'll have to wait and see if that happens, but maybe, just maybe, it's February now, almost March. Maybe by May, we get something on this and it releases and makes the game better. But again, for anybody that thought that this was going to be the reason why you should jump back into Starfield, and it's going to be something that it wasn't, Todd Howard is letting you know that is not the case here. So, yeah, you might want to stay away. But who knows? I might give Starfield a shot. I don't know. I might be lying to y'all right now. I kind of want to, but I've never been into any of his games. Not a one. His games seem way too long and convoluted and full of bugs. I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what happens with Starfield. Maybe it will be something I pick up. I'm leaning on the side of probably not, but I am interested to see what it's like going to the different planets. Somebody let me know, is it like Mass Effect? Is it anything like Mass Effect? Because if it is, I might be sold to a certain degree. Let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's get into the next. This ain't even a story. This is more of a feel-good moment for gaming. So we know the embargo has lifted for Resident Evil 9, and as of right now, the game is sitting at an 88 to an 89 on Metacritic. High praise. 88 to an 89 on Metacritic. I'm going to tell you something. This year has started out really good with two of my anticipated. Reanimal was a most anticipated game for me this year. Resident Evil, I was excited for it. But having those two games kind of in the same genre, the horror genre, both of them coming out to the scores that they have, gaming is off to a great start this year. Reanimal actually is sitting at an 80 as it stands right now over on Metacritic. I've been seeing not the previews, but the trailer of Reanimal, 4 out of 5. 89 out of 100, 4 out of 5. I mean, it's been all over the place. Amazing scores. I wouldn't doubt that game might be up for game of the year. Maybe not game of the year, but, you know, the smaller, the indie side, even though it's not an indie title. I believe that game cost, did y'all know, matter of fact, that game cost something like $30 million to make.
Show me the money.
Almost 30 million. It was like between 20 and a $30 million budget. And Tencent was the company that helped fund to help do the funding behind that game. So that just shows, I mean, those graphics. I bought the game. It actually came, shout out to Best Buy. I was able to get the physical copy of the game, and I put it up on YouTube on a shorts video. It didn't come with anything special. It was just your regular run-of-the-mill game inside of case, no booklets, no nothing. The same thing, which is crazy. Man, do y'all remember back in the day, and I hate to sound like that old man, you know, back in my day, I hate to be that guy, but it is true. When you got a game, when you purchased a video game, sometimes they would give you a map inside of it. Grand Theft Auto, shout out to GTA, they would give you a map. Even The Witcher, CD Projekt Red, The Witcher 3 had a map inside of it. They would give you a booklet. Matter of fact, I think even Cyberpunk 2077 came with a map. So shout out to CD Projekt Red. Those jokers had stickers inside of the box. I mean, shoot, I got to get that to them. I got to shout them out for that. I can't gloss past that. Now, CD Projekt Red has really kept that element of what purchasing a game used to be. These younger guys, these younger gamers, 18, 25, maybe even 30 for that matter, maybe, they might not even remember a time when you could purchase a game and it had a booklet inside of it. They would give you previews of the next game coming up. Like sometimes they would give you a poster. It was like a moment, that car ride, when you used to get that game from Sears, man, I'm talking about me, or Kmart, or wherever the case may be, Babbage's, Electronic Boutique. That ride home in the back seat was everything. You sit there looking through the book to try to figure out what the story is, because they gave you the story beats, and with the controls right, they gave you pictures inside of the booklet. Booklets used to be thick. I mean, it was an experience. But now, today, all of that's gone. They trying to take the physicals. Man, they trying to get rid of the doggone physicals as much as they can. But just the fact that now you buy your game and you just literally get the disc, even where the booklet would be on the left-hand side. They didn't even take out the things, the prongs that actually are supposed to hold the book. It's still there, but it comes with nothing underneath the prongs. It is absolutely ridiculous. But here I am going out and buying Reanimal because I just wanted the physical copy. That's a game that I know I'm going to enjoy, a game I've been anticipating. And like I told y'all, some games you just want the physical copy to be there. You want it in your library, in your physical library. And for me, that was definitely one of the games that I wanted. Let's go ahead, though, guys. I want it in my physical library. But let's go ahead and let's get into the next story here. So Insider Jeff Grubb, y'all know how I feel about this brother. Man, I never met him, never talked to him, but I really appreciate this guy's work and what he says because his track record is pretty doggone good. But Jeff Grubb had something interesting to say. He said, and I quote, "I heard recently that Gran Turismo 7 was running on the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to come to the Switch 2, but I heard it was running on the Switch 2. End of quote. Now, I don't know what that's about, but it was said that the reason why GT would be on the Switch, because, of course, I don't think GT7 is even a Switch-like game. Is very heavy simulation, simulated is nothing like Mario Kart. So I don't think it's coming to the Switch, but it could mean that PlayStation is actually doing a test for possible future PlayStation titles that could arrive on the platform. Now, when I heard that, I said, PlayStation, I can't have you do this. Cause if you do this, man, y'all killing me with this. If you do this, PlayStation, golly, don't do this to your fan base. Please keep your games off of Nintendo because they're not going to give you anything. Nintendo ain't gave a doggone thing to Xbox. Y'all remember when they let Banjo-Kazooie go over there, and I think Banjo was in Smash Brothers or whatever the case may be? Everybody on the Xbox side was saying, man, Nintendo, watch, they're going to look out. They're going to give Xbox something. They're going to do a swap for a swap. You know, I said ain't no doggone way. Y'all know who Nintendo is? Do you know these jokers? These jokers are the doggone gaming mafia. They don't play any of those kind of games, man. Are you kidding? You gave them something and they're going to say thank you. And that's going to be about it. Yeah, they had to pay you, I'm sure, for the licensing and all of that stuff. But that's all you're getting. Nintendo is not going to put something on Xbox. PlayStation, I highly doubt that Nintendo would ever do that. For y'all remember, y'all were arch enemies. Y'all got real beef where they turned their back on y'all at the end. And I think they went with Panasonic or somebody. I can't quite, Pioneer. I forgot who it was. But they turned their back on y'all on the public stage. Embarrassment. And now y'all possibly are putting y'all games over there. Come on, man. What part of the game is this? What part of the game is this? I'll tell you what part of the game it is. Y'all already know.
Show me the money.
That's all it's about. No! And I hate it, man. I absolutely hate it. Integrity, please. Man, if y'all do this, Sony, God, dog, y'all got some fire first-party games. I can't front. I ain't going to sit up here and say I can't support that. Because, man, y'all first-party choice is just too fire. I can't even sit up here and cap. It's too good for me to say that I'm going to leave y'all alone. But, man, God, dog, I'm definitely going to lose some respect. If Xbox had fire games like PlayStation's games, and I could only get them on Xbox, you better believe I would have an Xbox Series X. I would absolutely have one. But they're giving me options. And you want to put it over on the Switch too? Possibly. Some of your games, PlayStation, that's the best of both worlds. Them jokers can be mobile and they can be in the house. Hey, you would be crazy to do some stuff like that. But again, it's just, you know what? I guess it could be looked at as just, look at all these rumors surrounding me every day. Hopefully that's all it is. And it's and that's it. And it doesn't materialize into anything more. Hopefully for one of the first times, not the first time, Jeff Grubb hasn't always gotten it right. No, he hasn't. But this Joker's track record is darn good. So I'm hoping that maybe he just heard wrong. Hopefully this Joker just heard wrong.
Move this man.
Oh, man. Joker said, I'm switching it up because it's PlayStation. Brother's energy ain't the same. Man, I know. Listen, man. Listen, I don't want PlayStation to do this. I don't want them to go down the same route that Xbox did. I want these guys to just be able to keep the games to themselves. I know that the budget's getting high, but, man, just lower the budgets. I just feel like, man, we need competition. And part of the competition in the gaming space is who has the better exclusives? Who's giving you a reason to stay in their ecosystem? And it was usually the games that would do that. But now these jokers like NBA players, man, they getting traded or want to get traded to winning teams right now. They don't want to build it up no more. They want, hey, man, I want a championship during all that. I'm going over here to this team or I'm going over there. AKA, I just want the money. I'm not trying to do all of the hard work. Man, the hard work was done. We made the game. I need this money. And these jokers jumping teams like a mother lover right now. This is absolutely crazy. I hate that part of the game. I hate that because then there is really no reason to try and stay competitive if you can just try to get your money somewhere else that is outside of your platform. That's when stuff really starts to go downhill. And I just, man, come on, PlayStation. Don't do it. Don't do it. God, dog. You one of the last hopes, you and Nintendo, unless Xbox is really going to turn things around with Miss Sharma, which I highly doubt that that's going to happen. Y'all are the last two, man. Y'all got to fight each other. Y'all got to be competitive. Come on, man, for the sake of gaming. Anyway, let's go ahead, guys. We almost finished here. Let's move on into the next story that I got from Games Radar. So if you're interested in the new Horizon online multiplayer game, man, I don't even know if I talked about that game. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But then again, to be fair, I don't like any online games. Multiplayer games, you can keep it. But if you are interested in this new Horizon online multiplayer game, which is called Horizon Hunter's Gathering, yeah, they'll actually be having a, I believe it is what's it called? It's called a closed beta. We're going to have a closed beta starting on Friday, February 27th, and it's going to run until March 1st. So hopefully you can get yourselves into that. And to finally just get us finished for this week, because that's about it right here. Speaking of online, marathon developer Bungie said this, and I quote, man, since we talking about online, they said, anyone found to be cheating will be permabanned from playing Marathon forever. No second chances. I love it. love it. Man, you get some jokers over on PC. Now, I don't know if PlayStation does the same thing that Xbox was doing, where they let the PC guys get in there with the console dudes and they get to shake it up a little bit. All I'm saying is, if that is the case, man, get them cheaters up out of there. No, I'm not playing multiplayer games. I highly doubt that I ever will. But I am a person that believes in being fair. Cheating should never, ever be something that gets a pass or people overlook it. I love the fact them jokers said you don't get a second chance. You cheat one time, you're through. You are over. Get off the sticks. Get off of this game because you're banned and you can't come back. That should keep at least some people in line, knowing that once you get banned, you can't come back around. I love it. Absolutely enjoy that kind of news. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the gaming news this week. And as always, I want to thank you, the dopest listeners out there, for tuning in and listening to this episode. Thank y'all so much, because without y'all, the show is not worth doing. Shout out to all of y'all. Who knows what the week is going to bring? Who knows what's going to happen? Sharma, she's out there with Mad Booty. They on a war on tour with Muhammad, my man. Like I said in the other episode, they out here trying to get it. They talking and jazz courting, and they're making their rounds. So we don't know what kind of news we're going to get in the coming days. But I tell you one thing, we'll be here for it next week, next Wednesday. We will be here to discuss it. But until that time, always remember one thing. It is not about the consoles. It is about the games. So until next Wednesday, like I said, when we do it again, until then, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.